You cannot tell us to wait for you to face you in 2027 and you are killing us today.
On July 10th, 2025, the Kenyan Senate chamber became the stage for a fiery confrontation.
Us should agree. Honorable Speaker, please don't stop me.
You are now contravening standing on the 121.
Now the Speaker himself is interrupting me.
Standing on the 121. I gave a ruling, I gave you guidance. I gave you guidance. You know you cannot do elections in the Senate. We don't do elections in the Senate. So avoid mentioning names of state officers. I warned you. I cautioned you. That is the first caution again, understanding on the 121.
Very well, Honorable Speaker.
And you know the consequence.
On July 10th, 2025, the Kenyan Senate chamber became the stage for a fiery confrontation. Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna, a vocal critic of President William Ruto, stood to deliver a scathing rebuke that captured the nation's attention. As protests have been raging across Kenya, sparked by economic discontent and allegations of police brutality, Sifuna's words echoed the frustrations of millions. He declared that there could be no dialogue with a leader who, in his view, was denying Kenyans a chance to survive until the 2027 elections. His speech was a direct response to Ruto's controversial order to police to shoot protesters in the legs, a directive that ignited outrage and dominated headlines from local outlets to international reports.
Honorable Speaker, let me conclude by commenting on something he said. And I was very quiet when he spoke, so I hope he will be quiet too. Honorable Speaker, as a responsible government, you cannot tell us to wait for you to face you in 2027 and you are killing us today. Albert Ojwang is in the ground. He will not be able to meet William Ruto in 2027. So if we stopped, all of us, if all of us agreed, all of us should agree,
Senator
all of us
Sifuna,
should agree. Very well, Honorable
and
Speaker.
you know the consequences.
Very well, Honorable Speaker. Very well, Honorable Speaker. What I'm saying is this. All of us must agree that if decisions are being made democratically at an election, can we guarantee that all of us get to that election? Because you can't tell me to wait for you at the ballot and then you make sure I don't get there. Is Albert Ojwang supposed to vote from the grave? There's no such polling station.
The backdrop to Sifuna's statement was weeks of unrest. In June 2025, Kenya's Gen Z took to the streets in commemoration of the protests that were held in 2024 against the Finance Bill 2024, which many saw as deepening economic hardship. The demonstrations turned deadly, with at least 16 fatalities and hundreds injured. From the commemoration of the June 25th, 2024 protests held in June 25th, 2025, and the Sabasaba Day protests, meaning 7/7, which celebrates the date when Kenyans rose up to demand a return to multi-party democracy on July 7th, 1990, after years of rule by then President Daniel Arap Moi. The death toll from anti-government protests in Kenya surged to at least 31 people, the country's Human Rights Commission said, with at least 107 others wounded during the nationwide marches.
So when you talk about a state officer standing up and saying you can shoot people, as if people don't die from gunshot wounds. Honorable Speaker, we saw Rex Masai, the young man who was killed during the protest, was shot in the leg. So how can you tell people to shoot people in the leg as if those injuries are sustainable injuries? So, Honorable Speaker, we want to make it very clear that as a country, we have totally lost our way. And we will not have a conversation with someone telling us to wait for 2027 when he's not giving us a chance to get to 2027.
In the Senate on July 10th, 2025, Sifuna, the ODM Secretary General and Nairobi's outspoken senator, seized the moment. He said, quote, "You cannot tell us tukutane kwa ballot in 2027 and you're killing us today." He went further, stating there would be no dialogue with Ruto, whom he accused of denying Kenyans a chance to reach the next election. Sifuna's words resonated with the public, reeling from images of injured protesters and deaths of others and reports of abductions. His speech built on his earlier criticism, like dismissing the ODM-UDA memorandum in June as useless amid ongoing violence. For Sifuna, Ruto's leadership had become an existential threat, a sentiment echoed by many Kenyans who quoted him calling for Ruto's immediate ouster.
Albert Ojwang is in the ground. He will not be able to meet William Ruto in 2027. So if we stopped, all of us, if all of us are...
Ruto's shoot in the leg order was framed as a response to property damage during protests.
Mtu kama huyo apigwe risasi miguu, aende hospitali akienda kotini. Wasimuue lakini wapige hii miguu ivunjike ndio aende kotini, aende hospitali akienda kotini.
Yet, it drew condemnation from human rights groups and figures like Sifuna, who saw it as emblematic of a government disconnected from its people.
So, Rex Masai, the young man who was killed during the protest, was shot in the leg. So how can you tell people to shoot people in the leg as if those injuries are sustainable injuries? So, Honorable Speaker, we want to make it very clear that as a country, we have totally lost our way. And we will not have a conversation with someone telling us to wait for 2027 when he's not giving us a chance to get to 2027.
The sentiment aligns with his history of challenging Ruto's policies, from economic mismanagement to security overreach.
Rais William Samoei Ruto, wakati jana umesema shoot but do not kill. I want to repeat it here. In fact, shoot and kill.
Be a police station, pick a risasi.
So when you talk about a state officer standing up and saying you can shoot people, as if people don't die from gunshot wounds. So how can you tell people to shoot people in the leg as if those injuries are sustainable injuries?
Sifuna's stand wasn't new. In June 2025, he refuted claims of organizing protests in Bungoma, challenging authorities to arrest him if they had evidence. His defiance, rooted in his role as a defender of Nairobi's residents, made his Senate speech a rallying cry. The shoot in the leg directive from Ruto's office didn't quell public anger, as clips of police violence have flooded everywhere, fueling distrust. Sifuna's refusal to engage in dialogue reflected a broader sentiment: how could Kenyans trust a government that seemed to prioritize control over dialogue, brutality over peace? As Kenya grapples with economic woes and political tension, Sifuna's words on July 10, 2025 marked a turning point. His bold stance in the Senate, calling out Ruto's orders and rejecting dialogue, captured a nation's struggle for justice. Whether his speech will galvanize change or deepen division remains uncertain. But one thing is clear: Edwin Sifuna has cemented his place as a voice for those demanding accountability. As the 2027 elections loom, Kenya watches closely, waiting to see if words will spark action. What do you think? Drop your comments. Newsroom, Maisha TV, Bushebi Jr.